We're here with another great episode of The Royalty. And I hope you guys are in store. Last time we had a great conversation with our other co hosts, giving the women's perspective on love, dating, and relationships. And now we got my bro here. He's back with us, y'all. So be
Yeah.
in store for a great conversation. We are still talking about love, dating, and relationships and just partnerships across the board friendships, business relationships, whatever. If you're in partner with somebody, you need to be in agreement. And that's what we are here to discuss.
That's okay.
And so basically, we're just going to start about talking a little bit about we know how God's love is for us. His love is unconditional for
Yes.
us. It's patient, it's kind. It's all the way across the board unconditional. And so
That's
with
it.
that being said, we know like that's how we should be in partnership with other people. But it
Yes.
don't always work like that. So we here to weed out the bad stuff and talk about the good stuff so that we can get down to the nitty gritty of bettering these partnerships that we have. And so I just want to talk about. We're going to start with the importance of selecting partners.
Oh,
So I don't know. I think this is really important
yeah.
because in romantic relationships and friendships and business partnerships, I think when it comes to selecting the people that you're in agreement with, you guys are not being selective.
Yeah.
And some people are not doing their due diligence.
Yeah.
And I think it causes a lot of conflict
It
in the
do.
partnership. So let's
Definitely do.
talk about that for a minute. Like when it
Whew.
comes to you, like how do you handle selecting who you get in partnership with?
Um, now I'm gonna say this. I haven't always been wise when it came to like dealing with like partners like in every area from business to
Mm-hmm.
romantic to just friendships. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like that's super important. But now, because I learned a lot, I've experienced a
Mm-hmm.
lot, and you gotta be God led too
Definitely.
in those situations
For
too,
sure.
because something can seem right, and it may have all
Mm-hmm.
the signs that look right, but it don't mean you should touch it,
Yeah.
So, I definitely learned how to select, and it's a lot of qualities,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that I look for. Like, okay, is this good? But again, all those qualities can be there, but that's still not gonna be that be right for
That
you. You
person
know what
is
I'm
correct. I
saying?
feel it. I feel it. Is there a list? Like, do you have a list? Like, you got to check off A, B, and C, or is it like a mental note of like, okay,
Um,
this is what I'm looking for.
I would say it's both. I would
Okay.
say it's both for me personally.
Mhm.
Like I can name off a couple for sure. Like when it comes to just relationships,
Yeah.
like I look for like I'm gonna start with business before I
Mhm.
go romantic. I'm gonna start business, because that is
It's super
it's
important.
super
Oh
important.
my god.
But things I look for like when it comes to like the opposite sex, like a woman, I will say the first thing I always look for is like the soundness. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
if you super chaotic, like even when it
Mhm.
comes to business, I'm hesitant. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. I
Because
feel it.
I might be all over the place, So like if I need somebody, but all right, hey, you need to bring it back, But if I
Right.
always got to do that, that's kind of like that's like
A
red
red
flag for
flag.
me. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
for
saying?
sure.
So, that's on the business side, and I guess you can apply
The
that to like
relationships
relationship
too.
too. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And friendships.
Man,
You
what?
know what I'm saying? You gotta
You
have
need that balance.
yes, yes. So like for me, I think that just that solid factor.
Mhm.
Because I a lot of times like I'm so indecisive sometimes,
Mhm.
So
Me too.
I be needing truth like to like ground me. Because if not, I'll be all over the place, and I
Yeah,
don't need that,
I feel you.
So me personally, I would say that's probably my biggest one.
Mhm.
I'm looking for that solid factor,
I feel
when
it.
it comes to like any relationship from friendship, business,
Yeah,
because that keep things grounded. So
definitely. I
yeah,
feel that. I feel like it's very important to have balance. Like
yeah, most definitely,
if somebody, it's okay to be opposite. Like you don't have to be exactly like the person that you're getting in
exactly,
partnership with because I
exactly,
feel like that's where the balance come in.
yeah,
If
most definitely,
this is me. I am working on my time management. So if I'm always late, I don't need somebody that's always gonna be late
not at
too.
all.
Like I need somebody that's gonna hold me accountable. It's like an accountability partner. You know what I'm saying? Like get on me a little bit so that I can do better.
That's a fact.
And I just feel like it works better like that through across the board, like
Yes,
friendships, business relationships. Like you got
yes,
to have somebody that's balancing you out.
most definitely,
And I think now for me, as I am growing and getting older,
yeah,
a key thing for me and like my list of things that I wasn't always adding in is like a spiritual connection.
Yes.
If there is not a spiritual connection amongst business partners,
Oh, man.
friendships, romantic relationships, I feel like it's hard to
Most
really
definitely.
connect, especially when you're like developing on a mental level and that
Yes,
person is
most
still
definitely.
stagnant.
Most
It's
definitely.
hard for you to like,
Oh man.
it's hard.
Yeah, because it's like you dragging. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
It's most definitely.
And it becomes more like a weight, like more of a
Yeah.
liability instead of an asset.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
I don't like that, you
Yeah,
know.
me
And
neither.
for myself either, I don't want to be a liability for
Me neither.
nobody. And if someone feels like they have to drag me along, it's like I'm doing y'all a disservice.
Exactly.
So I think that spiritual connection for me is like a big thing right now that I've just recently discovered that it's it's important.
Yes.
So that's definitely one of my selecting picks when I'm picking a partner
Most
as
definitely.
far as friendships or whoever, just partnerships across the board. And
Yeah.
I'm noticing that the more that my relationship grows with God,
Mm-hmm.
that it became more of a requirement for me
Most
because
definitely. Same.
when I was still like figuring my relationship out with God, I wasn't looking for that. I think my things was like not to be shallow, but how do you look?
Right.
How do you keep yourself
Right.
up? Do you work? Like, and
Right.
of course, like, can you hold a conversation?
Most
Like, are
def.
we just
Oh
talking
my
about redundant
goodness.
stuff? Are we
Oh.
talking about social media all the time? Like,
Uh,
that's, I can't.
yeah.
I can't. And I feel like I'm gonna do something for the ladies because I think a lot of us be so caught up in like, oh, he got money, or
Uh-huh.
oh, we can do this, we can do that, and
Yep.
it'd be like
Yeah.
that man's an abuser.
You're right.
We can't do that,
Yeah,
honey.
that's a
We
fact.
gotta do better when it comes to that selecting process as women. I'm gonna
Yes.
speak up for us, sis,
Yes.
because it's not to say that you guys don't play a pivotal part, but I
No,
do
most
think
definitely.
women like kind of set the tone.
Yeah.
And because of the fact that a lot of us women have lowered our standards or
Yeah.
lowered um our list of what we desire when we're selecting partners, it
Most
has
definitely.
allowed the men to like, all right, well,
Yeah.
she cool with that. I'm gonna keep,
Right.
you know what
Right. I'm
I'm
gonna keep
saying?
doing it. Yeah, because I gotta speak on the fellas and I gotta challenge the fellas too.
Mm,
Because
challenge.
the ours a lot of men standards be low. Like even like a lot of my guys, a lot of
Mm,
people like that I know and personally know.
mhm.
These things that we talk about.
Yeah.
Because for me, my standards be high. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like it do like, and that's for me.
Yeah.
Like my standards be high.
For
Like
yourself,
for
personal.
myself.
Yeah.
Because how can I want that in somebody else if I'm not applying that for
I
me?
feel it.
And it's like you said, like like most women that I engage, with all kinds of either romantic business or not.
Yeah.
Most women, because I'm not like an average thinker kind of guy.
Mm-mm.
It intimidates a lot of women.
Mm.
And I've got that like in conversation. Like
Really?
most women, a lot of women have told me like they don't know how to communicate with me.
Wow.
Because they said I'm intimidating, and it's not
Wow.
like I'm beasting them. It's like
Yeah. You're
I
not coming
know.
with basic,
Yeah,
basic.
like I hold conversations. I can go as deep as you want to go. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I can challenge you. I'm in. So that's not. A lot of times like we have an idea of something that we want, but
Mm-hmm.
when it comes, it's like, oh, that's here. You know what
Wasn't
I'm
ready.
saying?
I wasn't ready.
Yeah, yeah.
Th-
So.
that's I'm so glad that you said that because this 2 weeks ago I had went to the Women Evolve conference, Sarah
Hmm.
Jake's conference, and she did a men's panel. And
Okay.
one of the guys on the panel, he mentioned like, ladies, prepare yourselves because I'm about to tell y'all how to get the perfect man. So
Oh
everybody like, woo,
man. Oh
woo.
man.
And so he gets to talking and he's basically saying like, create a list of your perfect person. And then he said, once you create the list, become the list. So I'm
Okay.
like, that's key right there
Yeah.
because I think a lot of, like you say, a lot of the times we are demanding or requiring a lot from another person, but we're not
Yeah.
reciprocating that same thing. So it doesn't align.
Yeah.
It doesn't align at all.
And that's not even. And for me, and that's where we go wrong a lot of times is we don't know the direction. So
Mm,
in terms, that's gonna have a woman lead in the direction.
yeah,
And it's like that's not how it's supposed to go.
right.
Like you got to know when to be authoritative as a man. You got to know when
Mhm.
to submit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
okay, I see what you're saying. Because a lot of times, most men, we had that narrative like, no, it's gonna go this way.
Mhm.
Like we overbearing with it, and it's
Yeah.
like that's not. that's not compassion. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because I watch my parents. Like my parents when they get sex 15. My daddy
Mm.
48. Mama 47 now. You know, so it's
Shout out
like
to y'all, cause
shout out
that's
to them. Shout
beautiful.
out to them. You know, and I've seen their ups and downs. You know,
Yeah.
and I learned from their mistakes. You know, from
Mhm.
the strengths and the weaknesses of my mom and my dad.
Of
You
course.
know, so like I became like a balance. You know, like in between
Of the
both of them.
two, I feel that.
You know, and one thing I know that most men struggle with is just listening. You know, it's like we
Mm.
say we want that, but like you be like, hey, don't do that route. We be like, no, this
Mhm.
I got my mind made. You know,
Mhm.
we got this thing. Like once my mind made, ain't nobody gonna change that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and God gave
That's
us somebody
good.
to help us. Literally,
Mhm.
like yeah, that was made to help us. It's not good
Yeah.
for men to be alone. You know, so
I
even the
feel
Lord said
that.
that, like Adam,
Right.
I can help you with all
I
these
gotta get
things,
you
Adam,
a
but
helpmate.
I can't help you with what you need help with.
Yeah, I
You know what
feel
I'm saying?
that.
So like that is so important. You know, so
Mhm.
it's important for us to know how to submit as well, just as we
Mhm.
want a woman to submit.
Yeah.
You know, in all
Oh, that's
ways. You know,
good.
so
That's good.
most men we don't know how to do that because we never seen it, we never experienced it, we don't even know what that looks like.
Right.
You know, but you really got to be God led. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I'm not and it become all right. I say do this, you don't do this. We can't agree on nothing. You know, it's like that's not how it's supposed to be. You
Yeah.
know, it's submission all around from both sides.
Let's talk about that for a little while because I feel like a lot of guys feel like the word submit is like
Oof.
they're becoming a weaker version of
Yes,
themselves. And it's totally not that. It's
yes,
it's simply like you said, being able
yes,
to listen and give that give or take.
yes.
So let's just talk a little bit about that. Like why do you think it's hard for guys to submit in that way?
Um, simply, I just it's simply pride.
Mm.
I'll just keep it plain and simple. You know, it just simply pride. You
Yeah.
know, most men we don't really know how to be men. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm.
we won't just admit that. You know,
Yeah.
because we a man, so like it's like I don't know how to be a man. You know, like
Right.
but we just like going with the motions. You know, and a
Mhm.
lot of men never had me in there to like set an example of that. You
Got you.
know, they had just one side. They had just one side, which would be their
The
mom.
mom,
You know,
yeah.
so they never really had an experience of how a man's supposed to act and conduct himself and do things. You know, so when they see a man or they see a woman that's authoritative, because I've seen scenarios like that where it's
Yeah.
been women that's just being them and being that's their personality authoritative and most men
Yeah.
get intimidated by that. You know,
Mhm.
like if a woman stepping on them, most men would be like, oh, they whatever
Right.
insecurity that's inside of
She a
them.
strong black, a
Yup,
strong
yup,
independent black
right,
woman.
exactly.
Like,
And it's like both sides can be positives and negatives on both sides.
mhm.
But again, you gotta know when to submit and know when to take authority.
100%.
Like, and that's all around. Because I deal with a lot of women in my field.
Mhm.
From of course romantically, but
Right.
business wise, I deal majority of my clientele and people I do partnerships is mainly
Right.
women.
That's what's
So
up.
like I gotta know how to, for one, I gotta know how to communicate with women because
Mhm.
I want to overly offend them. I want to be too aggressive, even though I'm
Right.
not, but I
Right.
can be, because I'm a
Mhm.
man. So I I gotta know like when to say because I can be like straight direct a lot of
Yeah.
times. I'm very compassionate,
Mhm.
but I know when to be direct. And I'm like in my back of my mind, like when I'm saying this, like dang, it's gonna turn her off. She's gonna be offended by this. But
Yeah.
me and we gotta be okay with saying those hard things too.
Mhm.
And just as much as we gotta know how to, you gotta know when to, not say it. You gotta know how to communicate.
Yeah. I think it's how you say it
Yes,
too.
it's super important.
Yeah.
It's super important. But you got to be God led though, because
Mhm.
you don't want to bend to each other's emotions too much.
I feel it.
It has a place.
Definitely.
But you got to know when to say something hard.
Mhm.
And the other person got to be open enough to receive it.
I feel it.
So it's really a heart thing.
Mhm.
Because if I know my heart well with you and I say something direct, or if you say something direct to me, I receive it.
Right.
But if I got insecurities or if I got past traumas and stuff, I can
Mm.
see that you attacking me instead of
Mm.
helping me.
I feel that.
So I think both sides, because I've experienced personally several times, and I've seen it. So like I know like the complications it can cause, like in a
Yeah.
person's friendship relationship. You know, there's no that communication piece is real huge though.
Yeah. And I think that's why it's really important that in any partnership that both partners are coming in with the whole mind
Yeah.
because if there is like any gray area for insecurities or
Mm-hmm.
doubts or anything, that's when it creates conflict
Yes.
because someone
Yes.
else is feeling a certain way about themselves and it's being
Exactly.
projected like the other
Exactly.
person feels that way. So I feel like if both people are coming in with the whole mind,
Yes.
whole, I don't even know, whole being of themselves and understanding of who they are and whose they
Yes.
are, then it won't be that difficult to receive each other
Yes.
in a way,
Yes.
whether it's hard or if it's
Exactly.
easy. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And back
Exactly.
to the submission piece, I feel like I'm gonna come back for the ladies again. I feel like a lot of us struggle with submitting to men as well
Yeah, most
because
definitely.
and not no shots at y'all,
No,
but
no,
a
no,
lot of
no.
men are not being led of God.
That's a fact.
So because of the fact that they are not being led of somebody, they don't know how to properly follow. So if
Exactly.
it's like the blind leading the blind,
Yeah,
basically.
most
Like if
definitely.
you guys aren't properly following the one that you are model after, then how can we trust that we're safe? You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? And I've
Exactly.
heard a lot of women say that.
Yeah, most definitely.
So I feel like it goes hand in hand. Like
It does.
we have to do better amongst each other and grow. Women, we have to grow, and men, you have to grow to understand that it's a give and take.
Yeah, most
And the
definitely.
more that we continue to follow after Christ, that's how we're gonna ultimately make these partnerships work,
Yes.
friendships, whatever. Like we have
Yes.
to, even with friends, like my friends. I'll speak on something that I did today, like my group of friends, and I text them all this morning. Um, I don't know, this is God leading me to do this, but I basically asked them, like, how can I help them continue to fulfill the purpose that they have on this earth?
Oh, that's good. That's
So
good.
some of the answers that I got were like, "Oh, that's a good question. I need to think more." And
Right.
that was kind of like my aim. Like I wasn't trying to trigger nobody, but I
Right.
wanted them to focus on like, okay, what is my actual purpose?
Exactly.
And then like once they figure that out, like then we can start to cultivate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just partnerships across the board. Like
Oh,
it's
that's so
good
good.
to have somebody who is goes back to the selecting the partner, somebody who
Mm-hmm.
can cultivate whatever it is that you are here on earth to do.
Most
What God
definitely.
has put in you, you need to be able to be around people who can cultivate it and bring
Most
it out.
definitely.
And I thought it was very interesting the responses that I got back.
Yeah.
And some of them were like, girl, what are you talking about? Like, it's 8 a.m. Like, what?
I'm like that too. I'm
And
that
one of
friend.
my friends, she was like, girl, buy me a house. And it was just, it was just funny because I'm like, a lot of us do think that fulfilling our purpose is like material
Yeah,
things.
we a lot of us do.
And it's like, it's so much bigger than that.
Yeah, so much.
It's so much bigger than that. But I want to like switch gears a little bit
Yeah.
because another big question that I wanted to ask was like boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to partnerships, business wise, friendship wise, romantic wise, like how how should I word this? How should we, or how do you go about setting boundaries without offending or projecting off a
Yeah.
like a I don't know how to word it, but how do you
Yeah.
go about setting boundaries in these different
That's
partnerships?
a really, really good question. So for me personally, how I go about setting boundaries is I simply have a conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like me, whatever my intentions is, I'm gonna let that be known. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So
Which is really good because people do not do that.
yeah, like people be weird, and it's like
Yeah,
that.
that's the
Come on,
problem.
man.
People
Like
are so
just
weird.
be like be either hot or cold. So like for
Yeah.
me, like whether it's business, friendships, or romantic, I'm
Mhm.
just straightforward. Like, all right,
Mhm.
this is what I'm looking for. Can you offer this? It's
Mhm.
like not in that words, but kind of in that
Basically,
sense,
yeah.
basically. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then we can work hand in hand.
Right.
And doing that. So if you're not sure, I'm like, okay, me, I'm a patient. I'm a patient man. So
Mhm.
for me, if you don't have an answer right now, okay,
I'm gonna give you time.
I'll give you time. You know what I'm saying? But it's something for us to because it's any form of relationship is important. You know what I'm saying? So like
Yeah.
I want it to be known because for me, usually when I go into a business relationship, friendship, romantic relationship, I already kind of know what I want.
Mhm.
Like I got an idea of something that I want. So all right, I let it on the floor.
Right.
Like whether you agree with it or not. Or I'm open for all questions. Because
Right.
I take time and I study and I think about these things. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? So I'm open for the conversation. So for me
That's
personally,
good.
that's how I conduct myself. Like when it comes to just boundaries,
Mhm.
I just simply have a conversation. Like, all
Yeah.
right, this is what I want. If are we gonna strictly keep it business, or I'm interested in you. Like I
Right.
just make that be known because
Hmm.
you would know, like if you interested in somebody, like
Definitely.
off rip. You
For
know what I'm
sure.
saying? Like you just know that. So like of course, on wait time release to like have a conversation, but I'm always ready, like to have a
Yeah.
conversation. Like okay,
Period.
this is how I feel about this.
I respect that. I
Yeah.
feel like for me, as far as boundaries, this is something that I've like been working on really
Hmm.
heavily in all partnerships. And
Yeah.
that's simply because like I had a people pleaser spirit on me. And it's like I wanted to
Yeah, me
just
too.
do everything for everybody, and it was like it
Yeah.
was draining me to the point I felt so overwhelmed. I would
Yes.
get headaches. Like
Yes.
I'm stressing
Me
because
too.
I'm trying to help y'all, and it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that's not how it should be. So I think like this is something new that I have been incorporating, and
Yeah.
it's
Most
simply
definitely.
like you said, opening your mouth.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to open your mouth and
Yeah.
share how you're feeling,
Most
what
definitely.
you don't like and what you do
Yeah.
like, what you're into and what you're not into, what you're
Exactly.
gonna go for, what you're not gonna. Just open your mouth and
Yeah. Most
communicate.
definitely.
People struggle with the
I
communication
was just about to say
piece.
that. We really don't know how to like just have a
A
mature
norm
conversation. And it's like even if I don't like something that you did or you don't like something I did, it's a way you can communicate that.
that
You know what
part.
I'm saying? Like and I know men for sure, we don't know how to like communicate that. We just internalize it. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? So women typically are more vocal when it comes to like that
Mhm.
part. Like we don't know how to really vocalize our emotions.
Why is
Or
that?
I, I think it's just how you was raised. Like
Mm.
I come from a family like you. My grandpa was hard. Like
Mhm.
we laugh about this. Me and my daddy, like my grandpa gone, but me and my daddy
Mm.
used to laugh about it. Like my grandpa didn't know how to say like I love y'all. Like even to
Oh
his kids.
wow,
Like we
wow.
didn't know he love us.
Yeah,
Like he had kisses on our forehead, but if verbalizing it,
he
I'm
couldn't
like
do it.
I'm like, Grandpa, I love you. He like, oh yeah, that's my boy. You know? Like he did not know. Even for my daddy, like
That's
we
hilarious.
know he love us.
Right.
Like he go out and work. You know what I'm saying? He go out. He'd teach us so much.
Yeah.
He'd sit down with hours. Like we used to watch TV, Animal Planet, National Geographic, all that.
Yeah.
We used to do all that together.
Wow.
But me just saying, Grandpa, I love you. Like I used to call him Papa.
Uh,
I'm like, I love you, Papa. He was like, hi, Kale. Yeah, that's my boy. Like he just didn't know how to say it.
wow.
So like
That's
yeah,
interesting.
it is. It is. And I know it's just how he was raised. They had to come from
Mhm.
a real hard, strong. They was
Yeah.
coming out of slavery, and like so they didn't really know how to like communicate. Though a man would just you just man,
Hard.
you work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't say nothing else.
Yeah.
So they I know and that's trickled down too as well.
Yeah.
So I think our generation of men is way more sensitive.
Oh my
I think,
God.
and it's just this is an assessment, because I can play a part in that. And sensitive not really a bad thing in a
It's
sense.
not. It's not.
It's now if you overly sensitive, now that could be an issue as a man. But you
Mhm.
do want to be sensitive because Christ was sensitive.
Of
You know what I'm
course.
saying?
I agree
So
with that.
and he knew he was a definitely a man's man, but he was
Mhm.
sensitive. He showed compassion,
Yeah.
or he would have never came.
I feel that.
So it's like you have to know how to be a man. You learn that through God first. He
Mhm.
teaches you how to be a man.
100%.
100%. Because I mean, of course, you can have examples, but even in there's flaws in that.
Yeah.
Because like I needed that hard. I needed that hard. Like you got to know when to be tough. You got to know when to suck stuff up. You got to know
Right.
when to not say this or don't go off your emotions.
Mhm.
But what I wasn't taught. I'm sorry, was how do I deal with my emotions though? Like if
Right.
something do hurt me to the point, what do I do with it? I
Yeah.
just can't show it, So it's
Right.
like knowing how to vocalize that. And me, I'm more vocal,
Mhm.
like. And my daddy has always been vocal, like a stuff he been at too,
That's
like. And he's
good.
definitely a man's man, but
Yeah.
he trained us to be like that, like
That's really good though.
if you feel a kind of way, or if you have a conversation, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying. And my daddy really taught me to be as vocal, even in his flaw. Like it's a lot of things my daddy won't admit,
Mm.
but he vocal, but if it's still
Right.
so much, he gonna go so
He
far.
like, yeah,
Like,
bruh.
but for me, I expressed that, like, man, that hurted me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like, and most men don't know how to do that. And that's
Yeah.
what and even when you look at the statistics, most men, it's more men committing suicide than
Mm.
it is women
That's
statistically.
interesting.
You
I
know,
I did not
and
know that.
because men, we don't vocalize, we don't express things.
Yeah.
We just tuck it up, we tuck it away, throw it away, put a key on it.
Mhm.
Because this society how we was raised. We
It's trained you guys to be like that. And
yeah,
I've noticed a lot of my guy friends, they have admitted that a lot of their hurt has turned into anger,
yeah,
and
most definitely.
instead of them saying like, "Oh, you hurt my
Same.
feelings," like
Yeah,
it comes off like, "Oh no, like you got me messed up."
yeah. We don't know how to say it.
Yeah.
We don't know how to say it. And this generation of men, like as tough as they try to put up fronts and stuff,
Yeah.
this generation is very sensitive.
Mhm.
Like and me
I
and me
agree.
being sensitive, I understand it, but
Right.
not in the sense of um what's the word? Not in the sense of like I'm not connected to what they feeling,
Right.
but they don't know how to handle it.
That part.
So like me, I'm a firearm. I'm a firearm instructor now. So like a lot of
Mhm.
this, I teach.
Yeah.
Especially the women, because I talk to a lot of women. Like for small example, right? A lot of women feel uncomfortable like going in the gas station,
Mm.
right? Because you got men
Man,
there.
what?
They just be, some men just
Just
hang out at the
hanging
gas
out. Like
station. Like
what?
it's the stop.
It's
Like
weird.
you
It's
not
weird.
getting gas.
Right? Like
You
what are
just
you
at the
doing
gas
here?
station. And I was reading up on a situation where a man literally had killed the woman because she didn't want to talk to him. But
Wow.
most men don't know how to handle rejection. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's something that small, but he killed her off just that.
Wow.
And she
Wow.
said no. I'm all she said was no. I'm okay.
Yeah.
It triggers something in his mind.
Wow.
And it's like it's a lot of it is a build up that just don't know how to like accept and like express things. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
I
Like
feel
all
you.
you have to say is, "Oh, okay." You know what I'm
Have a
saying?
good
But
day.
he killed her because she didn't want to talk to him.
Wow.
And it's crazy, and it's like it's a buildup of it becomes psychotic because we don't express it.
Yeah.
That's psychotic. Like
Yeah.
you just killed her because she didn't want to talk to you.
Right.
It's like you didn't have to do that.
Mhm.
And even a lot of the situations that happen in our community amongst men, because we talk about this in the barbershop all the time,
Yeah.
and a lot of these situations is men just don't know how to talk. Like
Mhm.
people kill each other off Instagram. Like this
Literally.
person said this to me, and I had to go slide. It's
Like
like it's
crazy. It's
crazy because he
weird.
said something.
Right.
And it's like, of course your words are power, but they shouldn't
Mhm.
affect you that much.
To that
You
much.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
That's too much control.
they words can put you in grave danger.
Mm.
It's like,
Seriously.
but men, and we still talking about men, and I'm challenging the men because these things that we talk about and we got to deal with,
Yeah.
and we don't know how to communicate. Like men
Mhm.
don't know how to just sit down and communicate. Like, bro, that hurt because we
Yeah.
want to look softer on our mans.
That part.
You know what I'm saying?
Or
Like,
y'all girls.
or your
Yeah.
and even that, because I gotta go there.
Let's talk about it.
It
Let's
gotta.
talk about
That's
it.
gonna kind of segue us. Like that's amongst men, but even
Yeah.
transitioning like with most women,
Mhm.
that's a lot of damage there too. Because
Definitely.
most and this is me personally, like even expressing things, I'm at a point now where I don't care how you might look at how I
Yeah.
might say
Yeah.
or how I feel about this. It's just gonna be that. But even expressing that, like it been recent, like being hesitant expressing things with women
Mhm.
because they use it against you. And it's like that's a sad factor.
Ladies,
Like
ladies, ladies.
it's a really sad thing because then that
Yeah.
make me bottle up because it's like okay, even if I don't feel comfortable telling my man's this,
Yeah.
I should be able to talk to my friend or my girl about
Yeah.
this.
I feel you.
And if you don't make me feel safe in the midst of that, how am I left to feel? And it's
Yeah.
like I even had women tell me like that you soft, like because I
Mm.
expressed like, and it wasn't even like I was crying. It was just
Right.
like, dang, that hurted. Like, why do you have to say that to me?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And it's been
Oh
several
my
times, no
god.
exaggeration. And I know several men, like I've been around situations with, my guys arguing with their girlfriends, and
Mhm.
she'll bring up something that hurt them, that they expressed in confidence
Yeah.
with his girlfriend
Yeah.
or with his friend, and to hurt him,
She'll
they would
use
use that
it.
against him, and it's like, that's hurtful,
Yeah.
because it's like, who do I
Who
talk
do
to
I
then?
trust? Who do I
So that
trust?
leads to most men getting medicated, or they get
Mm.
drunk, or they just, or they become a part of the He Man Woman Hater Club. Because
Yeah.
it's a lot of men out here like that. Like they're not necessarily uh gay or anything like
Right.
that, but they just don't like
I
women.
feel you.
And it's like it's a build up of different things. It's like
Yeah.
it's so many different
I already
things.
know. Ladies, I'm gonna touch base on that because we did talk about this at our last segment about love, dating, and relationships. That we as ladies do need to create a safe space for y'all because we know that there is a lot that you guys deal with that we don't necessarily understand. So if we
Right. And
create
vice
that safe
versa.
space, then it gives each of us, because
Yeah,
you
most
guys have to
definitely.
create a safe space for us. If
Most
we create
definitely.
those safe spaces, then it gives each of us an opportunity to release.
Yes.
Because society is already hard enough on us. We
Oh,
hard on ourselves. So at
yes.
some point we gotta release.
We got
We
to.
give it to God, but we need
Yes.
somebody else that can give
That's
us
a
conversation back right when
that's
we
a
need
fact.
it.
That's
So I totally want to take accountability for the ladies on that, and that we need
yeah.
to continue to create safe spaces for our guys because
Yeah, most definitely.
they have to feel safe,
Most
and we
definitely.
can't be using it. I know a lot of, I have
Yeah.
friends that have done that.
Yeah.
I have friends that have done that. So I totally understand
Yeah.
how hard that can be to
Yeah.
even feel comfortable um sharing after that, because it's
Exactly.
like, if
Like
I can't
dang.
talk to you, right, if I can't talk to you, then who can I talk to?
Yeah, like
That
it,
junk is tough.
it's like where's the loyalty at? Like
Mhm.
it for me, I'm the type of person like if you tell me some of the confidentiality, a lot of
I'm
times I
never gonna bring it
forget.
up.
Like
Yeah.
I'd be like, dang, you did tell me that. Cause like I'm so like accustomed, like
You hold it
I
in.
like if you tell me like, this will happen, I'll
Yeah.
really take that to heart. Like, dang, that hurt you.
Yeah.
Like it's been situations like people told me like I wasn't even nowhere in the picture. Like
Mhm.
happened to me when I was a kid. And I take it personal. Like,
Wow.
dang,
That's
like
actually really good.
like I really take it personal. That's what even led to me like being a firearm instructor now.
Mm.
Like is I internalize, I'm just compassionate towards people.
Yeah.
Like especially the women.
Mhm.
It's like men, we got a natural propensity like to defend ourselves physically.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We had that, but most women, they shouldn't have to do that. I
Yeah.
mean, of course you should know how to, but it's like you shouldn't have to.
I feel it.
And it's like that right there is huge.
Yeah.
And most men, a lot of us like due to our situations, we lack compassion.
100%.
Like I've seen several situations over my lifetime of men just letting things happen. Like you see a man hitting on the girl, you won't get in the
Mm.
mix. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like even
That,
if you
that
don't know
don't
this,
got nothing to do with me.
yeah, literally.
Like,
Like I heard men say,
wow.
like, man, you don't know the situation, but you gonna
Mhm.
just let this man beat on her. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And it's like we we had it, and it's sick because it angers me. Like, because
Mhm.
it's like that shouldn't be the case.
Yeah.
That's not manhood. But we think that is.
Mhm.
And it's like you gotta be led by the spirit of God, man.
That's simply it.
Yeah,
That's simply
yeah,
it,
you got to.
because if he's not guiding you, it's like you will be all over the place. Literally, you will be all over. I am a testament of that. You will be all over the place if you do not follow his lead when it
Yes,
comes to these connections, because you won't
yes,
know how to properly treat somebody.
yes,
And then, like, you still be harboring your own stuff that you haven't dealt with. That's why I'm such an advocate for therapy. Like,
yes.
please, please, please
Oh my
get
goodness.
into therapy of any sort, like any sort of therapy. That way you can release. If you don't have that safe space, find somebody or something, because it doesn't have to be a person. Things are therapy too. Like
Yes,
poetry is therapeutic
yes,
for
it
me when
is.
I'm writing. So find something that you can have that outlet for,
Yeah.
because you don't want to just be holding on to stuff, because
Oh my
that's how the
goodness.
cycle keeps
Yes.
perpetuating. If you don't deal with what you had, you're going to project that on the
Gonna
next
project it.
person, and then that person going to project on the next person. So
Yes,
the saying that hurt people really hurt people,
they
that's
do.
for real. That's
Yeah.
for real, for
Yes, they
real.
do.
So I'm just gonna keep flowing. As we're talking about these connections and
Hmm.
how it is important to have connections, because that's what
Yes.
God put us on this earth for, to
Yes.
have these connections. But there's also a season when we have to bow out gracefully.
Most definitely.
So how do we, or how would you say, how do you know when it is time to disconnect from a partnership, whether a friendship, romantic, or business? Like, what are some cues that it's like, all right, it's time?
Okay. First, I'm gonna say I pray about it for sure.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
That's number one.
Yeah.
And everything is everything. So
Oh
it
my
it
God,
add
that
up.
is my saying
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah. That is. Yeah.
Everything is literally
It
everything.
literally is. I always say that everything is everything,
Literally.
and how you do anything is how you do everything. So like
Yeah.
I I I watch like me. Like I said, I'm a very patient man.
Yeah.
Like I'm really an observer. I sit and I
Mm-hmm.
observe. Like and for me, like personally, I've had like romantic relationships with women, and I watch how they communicate with people like around them. Like
Mm-hmm.
how do you communicate with your mom? How
Yeah.
do you communicate with your kids if you have them? You know what I'm
Definitely.
saying? How do you handle your friends?
Mm-hmm.
How do you handle people you don't know? You know what I'm saying?
That's good.
And at a point in time, that's going you're gonna if you handling these people a certain way, you're gonna handle me wrong
I'm telling
eventually.
you.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So especially people that you say you love. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like people you say you love and you don't handle them right. You know what I'm saying? I'm really looking at you like,
Hmm.
okay, where's your loyalty? Like, how are you treating your mom this way or talking to your dad or
Right.
your sisters this way? Of course, that's your family. Like you might get upset, but
Right. But
even
still,
still,
there's
you
a
gotta
way.
yes, you
There's a
still
way.
gotta handle them with care.
Yeah.
Like, cause my mom be making me mad sometimes. I can never disrespect
That's
my
just
mama. You
inevitable.
know what I'm
But
saying?
yeah,
Like
of course not.
my siblings make me mad, but I still make sure that I handle them with care
Of course.
because I don't want to push them off on the edge. Because and the day you don't know what they dealing with.
Yeah.
So I say I pray about it because like God will show you that in prayer
Hmm.
though for sure.
Yeah.
He'll show you like what that person if you want to be connected like that. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
I
A lot of
feel
people
you.
just really be disconnected.
Yeah.
But if you connected to that person or if you say you want to be connected to them, you want to know them and God knows us way more than we know each
I'm
other.
telling you.
Better we know ourselves.
Yeah.
So He'll show us that.
Hmm.
So me, I just observe for me. So like after so many signs,
Hmm.
I'm like, all right, you do that to your mom, okay. All right, you say that, okay. You handle people that you don't know like that, okay.
Yeah.
Like I observe it. I might not say nothing in,
Hmm.
but I just keep watching. And then that's when that conversation gonna come in. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I watch. Over time that like I won't just
Right.
say it just there. Because I'm just gotta let it flow. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And God didn't release me to say something. So
True.
after
True.
so long, I'm like, okay, I just watch things like that. How
Yeah.
people handle situations. Like, do you got integrity? You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Like, even the small things. Like, what's your integrity? Like,
Right.
like I remember I was I was on a date, and we went so we went to a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
It was a pretty nice restaurant. We went to a restaurant, and
Just
I
say it.
was just communicating with the waitress. So, me, I'm communicating with the waitress or
Right.
whatever, and the waitress, it was a busy day around this time. So the waitress, she was all over,
Mm-hmm.
right? And at first she was making jokes like, all right, we eating our food, we was waiting on the bill for like 30 minutes. But for me,
Right.
that all right, for me, that give enough time for us to talk.
Right.
Like we have, you know,
Right.
time, we had time to talk,
Yeah.
So for me, we just communicating.
Got
So
you.
the waitress didn't take long. She kept saying stuff like, I'm about to get ready to get up and leave. We about to just get ready and dip. I'm like, and she was saying, I'm thinking she's playing. So I'm laughing, chuckling.
Right. Whole
She
time
really
she
got up.
said
She really got up
she
and
got
did.
up and
You know what
left.
I'm saying? And it's like,
Oh my god.
it was crazy. It was crazy. Like,
Oh
can't say
my
them.
god.
Of course, I'm not gonna say no
Don't say no
names.
names,
I'm not doing
please.
that. But like that's one out of many situations that I experienced. Like,
Yeah.
where's the integrity? And I was paying for the food, of course, but
Right.
it's like, why, like
What's your rush?
what, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like simple things like that. Like I
Mm,
really dig into stuff like that because how you do anything is how you do everything. You know
100%
what I'm
agree.
saying? And everything is everything. So
Yeah.
if you don't pay attention to the small things, to the details, you know what I'm saying? And those little things, little situations like that,
Yeah.
and the big situations, how are you gonna have? You know what I'm
Woo
saying? And
wee.
that's just the norm. That's how you flow.
Yeah.
So clearly that's how you flow. If you're just comfortable, it's our first date. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you just
Wow.
that comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like you just did that. This is who you are. This is something you do
Yeah,
regularly.
for sure.
So like for me, like I said, I'm just an observer,
Yeah.
and I know most men do.
Hmm.
Most men, because I talk to a lot of guys. A lot of my men, we talk about stuff like this.
Lay it on us.
We talk about these things. Because we observe. We
Yeah.
just sit back and watch. And another one too. I'm gonna start
No,
out there too.
tell us,
I'm
please.
gonna just give you a little game, ladies.
Ladies, listen, please.
Listen, we just as well as y'all watch social media as we do too.
Mm,
What you post, like that's important
yeah,
because that's
I
something
agree with
that's
that.
something that's on your
I
mind.
agree with that.
You know what I'm saying? It's literally your story. It's called your story. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? Like this is something that you post, right?
Yeah.
So everything, my get too deep. My I gotta go back to my granddad, because he used to always say, it'll tell you a lot about a woman by the kind of music that she listens to.
Mm,
So that I always, and my grandmother used to say the same thing.
wow.
So like I pay attention to stuff like that. Like if you just if you a
A
sexy
hood.
red kind of,
Oh
if
God.
you a kind of Glorilla, that's your man. You know what I'm saying? Like you just banging their
Yeah.
music all. I'm looking at you different. Like,
You
where your
hard
virtue
body,
you at? You
right?
know what I'm saying? Like, why you just where your, you know what I'm saying?
No,
Like,
seriously, you
no,
don't
for
have a
real. Like,
soft side.
if that's your go-to songs, you
Mm-hmm.
know, like if you hear it, you probably, so the beats be hard, like, oh, that be hard.
Right,
You know
right,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
But if that's your if
Your
that's your
anthem,
thing, like, I only like this kind of music, that tell you a lot about a
it
person.
does.
You know what
It
I'm saying?
does.
Typically that
I agree with
does.
that.
Because you whatever emotions that we got going on, that's the kind of music that we listening to. Right? If you in
Yeah,
love, that's why we love R&B.
definitely,
If you wanting a guy, you gonna listen to gospel. You know what I'm
definitely.
saying? So it's like, if you a wild person, you might throw some rock and roll, some heavy metal. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that.
It portrays
Yes,
you
music
for
is very
sure.
important.
For
You know what I'm
sure.
saying? Because it's so important. That's a whole different science.
Mm.
But I pay attention to that stuff. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? So it's like, we do watch that stuff because men do talk about it. You ain't got to be saved. You know what I'm saying? I probably
Wow.
got a little more insight, but a lot of my friends ain't saved. So like a lot of
Yeah.
them, they be saying that, like, man, even another one, ladies.
Come on. This is why
We
we
gon'
needed the
we
male
we, we
perspective,
gon'
y'all.
listen. We look at how do you dress yourself. That's
Yeah,
important
honey.
too.
I
A lot of
feel
people
it.
think that's not a big thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been on dates, and some of those been my last dates with that person because of how just revealing you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you
Mm.
just so eager to just show so much skin,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, you got your shoulder. Okay, we can work with.
Right.
We can work with. We can work with the shoulders. You know what I'm saying? Like, little slit,
You like have
little
some
bit.
modesty about
You know what I'm
yourself.
saying? Some modesty. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
I feel it.
That told me a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, me and we talk about this stuff, y'all. Like, these are our barbershop conversations.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we not every man is not saved.
But they still feel
but
the
they
same.
still feel like this. You know what
Wow.
I'm saying? Like, you got some men that don't care about that, and typically
Mm.
they just let a girl or their wife do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
That's them. But typically, majority of men that I communicate with, they care about that. Like,
Yeah.
why you gotta put that on? You know what I'm saying? Even if they don't, most men are gonna overly press it. That's just
Right.
most men. But they will say something like, "What you got
What's
on?"
that on?
You know what I'm saying? Like, why you? What you put that on? Like, they
Right.
might not overly press it. But we pay attention to stuff like that.
100%.
Just like if a woman if she just overly dressed, you gon' and the man's mind, he gonna think sexual. And you can't be mad if he
No,
come at you
seriously.
like that.
And that's another thing. I'm gonna just chime in right quick because some ladies I've seen like they get offended if they are
Yeah.
like exposing themselves and a guy like comes on to them like that.
Right. That's in
So
his
it's like,
mind. We
what were
think
we to think, babe?
it's like we think, and granted, men men gonna be men, like they gonna say stuff like that,
Yeah.
whether you dressed up or not. You
True.
know what I'm saying? But and I've seen women that was clothed and how they carry themselves, a man step to them a certain kind of way. They try it,
Mm-hmm.
but how you carry yourself, we pay attention to, like, oh, she loose. Okay, I'm about to handle her loose. Like, and it's
No,
how
I
men
feel
thinking.
I've some of my
Yes, in the
friends have
church or
said that
not.
same. No, I feel you.
You
I
feel me?
feel
Like,
you.
this for
I
real.
feel it.
Like, ladies, we gotta be honest. Like,
Yeah. I love this.
these are like things that we pay attention to. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Like, these are things that we pay attention to. So
That was really good.
yeah, those just a few things, but those are
Yeah.
big things, like, in our generation. That I know that men that we talk about. Like, man,
Wow.
why she had to put that on? Like, bro, yeah, man, I don't know.
She out
Like,
here wilding.
my guys group chat. They texting like, bro, she tripping.
Oh my
Like,
god.
this our first date. Like, you just showing everybody everything
Oh
already. You know
wow.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like most men are still engaged.
Of
Of
course.
course, for reasons, but
Nothing on
nothing.
the
They don't
serious
take them
level.
serious.
Yeah.
They don't they don't take them serious. And if
Mhm.
they do, it gotta be probably a little more to them. Like, she probably do something like this that I might need.
Yeah.
Or she might good in this area. I might need that. But most men
Wow.
don't agree with that. They might
Oh
not
wow.
say nothing
Yeah.
because that nah. What's the one I always hear? You trying to control me? Like, I
From
hear
the
that's a
ladies.
yes. That's a
Yeah.
real big one. Like,
Yeah.
you insecure. It's like,
Mhm.
whoa, hold on. That's not the case. It's a respect level. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I hear that a lot. Like, I hear that a lot. Like, when a man say something about, like, how a woman dress, it's like, oh,
Mhm.
you insecure. And a
Mhm.
man is insecure. No, it's not. It's a
I
respect
do feel it.
level.
It's a
You know what
respect
I'm saying? And
thing.
that's why most men don't say it. They don't really press it because they don't. all right, man, she gonna feel like this,
Right.
she gonna say, oh, she, but there's no like because we talk about it.
Mm,
You
mm.
know what I'm saying? So it's like it's just something,
We put this
ladies,
in my notes, y'all.
ladies. I'm telling you, like those are
That's
big
so
things. Yeah, it
interesting.
is
That is really
because
interesting.
we think
Wow.
fundamentally. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's just how we wired. That's how
Mhm.
men wired. Like instantly when we see it, we already mathematically thinking like she lose. Okay,
Wow.
we scanning a room already like okay, let's see her. Or her pretty. Okay, she must be a natural girl. Like these literally things that we
Yeah.
analyze. I know women do it too, but
Of
I'm just
course.
saying like
And I was gonna
these
speak
just
on
this
that.
these things that we pay attention to. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
how we handle or treat that, or how we handle or treat that woman.
Right.
Like those things are you gonna pay attention to.
Yeah. I think ladies definitely do pay attention to, it's not to that extent,
Yeah.
but we do like if a guy one of my friends, she said if a guy's nails are not clean, like that says a lot about him.
Yeah.
So it is like little intricate things that we do also pay attention
Yeah.
to, which is so interesting because
Yeah.
some of my other guy friends have
Yeah.
mentioned those things, particularly
Yeah.
about ladies, like how they
Yeah.
dress and
Most
how they
definitely.
carry themselves.
Most
But I think
definitely.
for the ladies' perspective, as far as like back to how to bow out gracefully, because I know that's how y'all be bowing out.
Yeah. Most
But
definitely.
I'll speak on me. Like, well, I know when it's time to separate if uh like the way that my mind is working,
Mm,
and not to say that we have to think the same, but if,
right.
say for instance, I'm on a mindset of like entrepreneurship and
Yes.
growing and
You care about this.
positive mental
Most definitely.
health, then I'm going to need you to have some of those same type of
Most
qualities. We don't have to
definitely.
be doing the same thing, but it
Yeah.
needs to be on the same upward path, because
Yeah.
if somebody is over here and I'm up here,
Oh,
it don't work like that. And it goes back to that dragging that way. Like, I can't
yeah.
pull you up here. You gotta be climbing up yourself. Cause I'm already trying to get myself up here. So
Exactly.
I can't be pulling you at the same time. So that's how, one of the reasons how I know it's time to like
Most definitely.
depart
Yeah.
any friendship. And also if it's
That's a
like
big one for us too.
what I'm I don't know if this kind of ties in, but if I'm bringing certain things to the table,
Yeah.
then it needs to be reciprocated.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Partnerships, as far as friendships,
Mm-hmm.
romantic, like business relationships,
Most
if
definitely.
I can't carry most of the weight,
Exactly.
that's not fair.
Exactly.
So if I'm feeling like I am not getting that reciprocity, then it's
Mm-hmm.
like, all right.
Yeah.
And I do give a lot of grace, because I'd be like, okay, maybe next week,
You're right.
maybe the week after. But it's like, no, you have to start paying attention to this stuff, because
Yes, you
it'll
do.
become a system.
Yes, it will.
And not to put my friend's business out there, but one of my friends in particular, she said that when she first started talking to somebody that she was talking to, they were always just like going to their house and like watching movies and stuff.
Oh
They
wow.
never like went out.
Oh wow.
And so like
Oh
now
wow.
she's like, okay, I want to go out. He like, well, we weren't doing that from the beginning.
Oh
So what's up?
man.
So it's like you
Yeah.
gotta, that go back to the boundaries.
Yes,
You
you
have
got to.
to set in place
Yeah.
from the beginning
Yeah.
what it is that you're desiring, what it is that you
Oh.
require,
Yeah.
because somebody gonna take
Yep.
that and run with that.
Yes, they
Oh, we
will.
wasn't doing that in the beginning, so why you want
Exactly.
to
Why
do
you
it
want to do
now?
it now? Yeah.
Which is crazy, because it's like, come on, bro, you gotta grow up.
Yeah.
Like,
Come on. Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
we ain't always gotta be at the house.
All
Like,
right.
take
Come
me
on,
out.
man. Yeah, man.
So I think those are like my most important things, like that reciprocity
Yeah,
piece,
that's
and
huge.
then like we have to be like equally yoked. I say
Yes.
that we got to
Most
be equally
definitely.
yoked. If
Most
even my
definitely.
friendships, if I feel like you kind of like trying to figure yourself out, I'm gonna give you some time. It's still love
That's a
there,
fact.
but I gotta, separate
Got
myself
to.
and move forward,
Yeah.
because I can't do both. I'm trying to grow
Yeah.
myself and I can't grow you at the same time. It's hard. It don't work like that.
Yeah.
It just don't work like that. But that was so funny that you brought up those things about the guys, because I don't know if a lot of ladies even realize that,
Yeah.
because most of them be like, oh, I gotta, show
Yeah.
a little something
Yeah.
something where they won't see me, and it's like,
Right.
you don't have to do all that.
No,
Like,
you
it's
don't have
it's
to.
modesty to it. And
Yeah.
I'm noticing, like, I've been seeing, because
We
I've been
respect
on
that more.
my podcast really heavily, and a lot of these guys, they're saying like modest girls are like big right now. Like, the good
Yes.
girls are still in. Like, don't
Yes.
think that they are not
Don't
in.
let social media, and
It's the
it's the
social
social media. That's all. I
media.
promise you, that's what it is.
Oh my
That's what it is.
god.
That's why I honed on social media. That's why I
Mhm.
brought it up because social media is a very big thing. It's a killer.
It's horrible.
It is like it can benefit you, but it can hurt you too.
Very
You
much
know what I'm
so.
saying? And it hurts a lot of us, because it set the standard for society.
Yeah.
And that's
Which is
like,
sad.
and it
It's
is,
sad.
it's really sad. But modesty has always been it. Modesty has always been it from scripture.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Come
Even to
on,
now,
let's
like
talk
we
about it.
gotta go back to that because that's what we gotta base everything off truth.
Yeah.
Because if you feel like this and I feel like this, what's right? You know what I'm saying?
Let's
Like
talk about it.
that's the book of truth.
Yeah.
Basic instructions before leaving Earth. It's basic stuff.
100%.
So it's like going back to that piece is huge because
Mhm.
modesty, it sets the tone. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And you respect that more.
Yeah.
It's like you have some people that just like obnoxious, right? But that person,
So
and even the
annoying.
scripture talk about that. You would think a person wise if they just quiet.
Mm.
But the person that's loud, everybody gonna be like, you gonna have some people that's gonna draw to it, but everybody gonna
Most
be
people
like,
like that's too much noise.
okay. But you gonna be like, all right, what does he have to say over
Right.
here?
He's so
Like
quiet.
you're quiet. Like it's
Yeah.
you gotta practice
I've
that. Like
gotten
you
that.
gotta know when to be vocal.
Mhm.
Because I can talk, but I'm typically a quiet guy. Like anybody know me personally, I'm very quiet until you like, yeah, what do you think?
Yeah.
And then you're gonna get you'll get a whole piece.
I'm gonna lay it on you.
I observe a lot, I read a lot,
That's
I
so
study a
good,
lot,
bro.
and I got the spirit of God too. So those pieces are good, and those things that men we gotta have.
Mm.
Like we gotta have those things because if
Yeah.
not, God gives us that direction.
Yeah.
And a man's job is to lead. So
Mhm.
if we not leading, how can we expect women to follow? You know what I'm saying? So
100%.
that's what most men, like every time, especially the young men, I tell my brothers, like when you young, you want to instantly want a girlfriend. Like we just instantly go to girlfriend. And I be telling the young men, like, just wait.
Yeah.
I'm like, they gonna be there. Like I promise
They're never going anywhere.
we not going nowhere. I tell the young ladies the same thing.
Yeah.
Leave them boys alone. You don't know yourself.
You got time.
At 15, what y'all gonna have to offer each other? We not gonna have nothing
Phone
to offer.
conversation.
At 18, what you gotta have to offer?
Seriously.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Seriously.
you gonna fall into some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That from experience, you're gonna fall into a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Y'all, the hormones gonna be raging.
That
you know
part,
what I'm saying? Like you,
that part.
Even adults.
Yeah.
We gotta know how to say no. I can't.
Not right now.
No, I gotta.
Not in
I
this
gotta
season.
build.
Yeah.
Me, we gotta learn how to say no, man. I gotta leave that alone. I gotta build a party against the girls. I gotta know. No, I can't go out. I'm sorry.
Good.
You gotta know how to build.
Yeah.
You gotta have a. Everything has its place.
Yeah.
It's a time and place for everything. But most men don't know how to be men.
Yeah.
And that's where it goes wrong.
100%.
That's where it goes wrong because most men don't know how to be men.
Yeah.
And I'm saying we. I'm saying we.
Include yourself.
I'm including myself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because we won. If you fail, I fail. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
so
the mentality
good.
that I have.
That's good.
So even if I'm on point, if we not on point, we not on point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like that's the mentality we gotta
have to have as a culture.
Yes, we gotta have that as a culture. Like if we see somebody doing something, put him to the side. Like it be young men all the time that I see. I put them to the side. I'm like, man, your pants down. Why your pants down? Why you gotta walk? And they are pulling like, bro, why you like it depends. You know what I'm saying? Like I have done that, but like I pull them into the side, like like bro, like come on, man, what you gotta do all that. Come on, like
chill out.
You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta have that because if he fail, we all fail. You know what I'm saying?
True.
And we don't have it. It's I got mine, this mine, don't touch mine. Like we got that mentality, and and that's like it's like in the past couple generations we got this mentality. Because I go to I go to my grandma generation, which is only 2 generations back.
Right.
I go to their generation, and I used to get whooped by my neighbors, and I used to get, I used to be able to like, you know what I'm saying? Like you can't. Unfortunately, you can't do that now in a lot of places.
Yeah.
And it's like it's sad that we don't have no trust level.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of that starts with the men. Because the men in the community, they set that foundation.
I feel
You know what I'm saying? Like we don't know how to serve. It's a lot of things. I can dig on.
We're gonna come back with this.
I'm telling you, I'm going on
too good.
I go on and on about this. What men can do better at and what we doing good in.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of things that we got out of order. If we talking about the men, you gonna have me talk about it. There's a lot of
stuff. He gonna get y'all together.
A lot of stuff that we gotta work on.
I appreciate all of this insight that you have given because I feel like this will allow women to operate back in their
Yes,
natural
yes.
feminine soft
Grandma been taking
energy.
care of
I'm telling
everything,
you,
and it's like
it'll allow that.
y'all done a phenomenal job
Mm,
taking on the responsibility when men drop the ball at,
mm,
and
wow.
a lot of it is a personal choice, but a lot of it is not on me and for,
Yeah.
especially in the black community.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? Like we had the ability to change that, but when it started breaking down, you got to add the government, you got to add drugs can impact the
man,
community.
it's on
You got to
it's
add
so many
so many
levels.
layers
It's
that we
so
got to
many
blast
levels.
past. But we had the ability to change that though, fellas.
A
You know what
hundred
I'm saying?
percent.
We had the ability to change your mind. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? To no, I repent. I'm not going back to that no more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm completely doing a 360.
A hundred
You know what I'm
percent.
saying? And that's still in the same vein because if we be better men, we able to be better husbands. We able to be
Mhm.
better. So we not out of the conversation. I'm not out of the
Right.
conversation. All of these play a part in you being a man, so you know how to can handle a woman.
Yeah.
Because if you know how to serve your woman, when she need to, you will make you make her job lighter, and vice
Hundred
versa.
percent. A hundred
But most
percent.
men don't know how to do that
Yeah.
properly. You know what I'm saying? Like we can have a heart to, but we don't know how to do it properly. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying?
That's
So
good.
we gotta
Y'all.
we gotta work on a lot,
These
fellas.
love dating and relationships is gonna get a whole bunch better.
Yeah,
Tune in for our next segment, y'all, because we might have to run another
we gonna
segment
have to do
back.
another one.
This was
I'm telling
really,
you, we gonna
really
do another
good.
one. Yeah,
Y'all, I appreciate y'all. And I hope you guys gained something from this
yeah,
conversation. We're going to continue to bring the heat on the royalty for
yes,
y'all
yes,
because we're trying to make impact and change the lives of this generation that we are in right now
most
because,
definitely.
like we said earlier, we are lost. But once
Yes,
again, I'm Jocelyn Walker,
and I'm Kale Myrick.
and this has been the royalty. I hope you guys enjoy. Have a
Yeah.
good one.